Greetings, members of the Midnyte Society. In today's video, we're taking a look at my personal favorite creepypasta of all time, the story of her holding an orange. Brace yourself for a story that is going to make you question the very boundaries of reality. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with all of our terrifying tales. Now, dim the lights, grab your favorite blanket, and let's embark on this unsettling journey together. This is the Midnyte Society, and this is CreepyPasta Corner. Okay guys, before I begin, I gotta give you a fair warning. This story is absolutely true, unfortunately. It is also very long. It goes back to my childhood, but it wasn't as terrifying until very recently. Now I am completely lost in fear. I am an adult man, logical and intelligent, or at least I'd like to believe, sitting in my bed, scared shitless right now. Goosebumps all over my body and tears of horror in my eyes. I ask for your help in explaining this absolutely horrifying thing. Caution, you'll notice that I curse quite a bit. I want you to know that what you read from now on is the situation perceived by my mind. I like to think that I'm a very rational person, and I haven't been able to explain these occurrences in any natural way. Since my mom got a new job, she started making new friends. It is common in our country that friends go to each other's houses for a cup of coffee, cake, gossip, and whatnot. A few weeks into her new job, my mom made friends with this woman, Rose. She would come by maybe twice a week, and they'd sit around the coffee table on our balcony and just talk. One day, when I was 17, I was at the balcony with them. I'm not sure why I was there, but knowing me, I had probably run out of internet hours. Back in the day, we bought internet monthly per hour in my country, and I was bored as fuck. So we're sitting there, and they're gossiping about who knows what. My mom gets up to go get some cake that she had baked recently. I remained sitting at the table with Rose, and that is when my life changed forever. Rose was a good-looking woman. She was about 5'6", skinny, long black hair and pearly white teeth. Attractive woman overall. So anyways, I'm sitting there with her, and she turns to me. She has this creepy grin on her face. Bright red lipstick with bright white teeth underneath are just making it look that much more scary. Her head is moving slowly, almost as if she had become a puppet. She says something in the lowest tone possible, certainly not loud enough for me to understand. "Excuse me?" I say, still not being scared, just a bit weirded out. "Are you ready to go now?" She said this in the voice of a child. I kid you not. Like maybe an 8-year-old girl. Her grin is still there. She mustered those words through her teeth, never opening her jaw. "What?" I ask, starting to get a little scared. "You ready?" The same thing again, only this time she pulls an orange out of her purse. That's it. She just took the orange out and held it there. Didn't offer it, didn't eat it herself, just held the fucking thing. At that point, I was getting scared as fuck. Thankfully, my mom came with the cake, and Rose, almost as if somebody had pushed a button on a remote control, switched back to her normal self, putting the orange back into her purse without my mom noticing. I left the balcony creeped out, but I was 17, so I brushed it off fairly quickly. That night, I had trouble sleeping. My room is on the first floor, and my window is at maybe 5 feet, so I kept looking at it, praying not to see some scary monster. I would turn in my bed constantly and look at the window maybe every 5 minutes. It was getting late, and I started to doze off, but decided to look into the window one last time. And there she fucking was, standing in the goddamn window. Rose, just standing, looking directly at me. The moonlight was bright enough for me to see her clearly, with the same grin on her face. I stared at her face, lipstick red as ever and teeth whiter than ever, and I was paralyzed with fear. I often imagined what I'd do in situations like these, and I always had an escape plan for any hypothetical I threw at myself. But now, when this friend of my mother's was just staring at me through my window at 4 a.m., smiling, I was motionless. My mouth got dry. I got goosebumps. I even have them now as I type this. And I swear it became freezing cold in my room. Probably just the way the body reacts to shock. I finally gathered the courage to get up. I started walking towards the door. Her head was turning with me, slowly, with the grin still there. Again, it was as if she were a puppet. I wanted to scream for my parents, but knowing how tense they are, I decided not to cause panic just yet. There had to be some rational explanation, right? For fuck knows what reason, I decided to walk to the window and ask her what the hell her problem was. I made 2 slow steps towards it and froze. I froze because she moved. Do you want to know what her movement was? Taking the orange out of her purse. Does anyone know what the record time is for having goosebumps? Because they sure as shit aren't going away. Anyways, after being terrified for a full minute, I decided to go on. I'm a big guy and figured I'd be able to fight her off if push comes to shove. My windows pull up in order to open. I pull it open maybe some 10 inches and stop. She's not moving, just holding the fucking orange and looking at me with the scariest grin you've ever seen. But every move she makes is so slow, so mechanical. She's bending so she can reach the open part of the window. I'm horrified. She pushes her head through it, just enough space for her head to go through. You go with me now? As she's saying this, in her 8-year-old voice, her hand is making its way through the crack, holding an orange. What do I do? What would you do? Fucking run. I run out of my room screaming for my dad. My dad, being a light sleeper, he jumps out of his bed and screams back at me, asking what the hell is going on. All I can muster to say is, Rose, window. While Dad is throwing his pants on, I run back to my room, wanting Rose to be there so he can see that I am not crazy. You know how in horror movies the person you saw is gone by the time the witnesses come? Yeah, well, something similar happened, except I caught Rose leaving. There is a house some 100 yards away from mine, and it had one of those motion-activated lights. There's lots of crime back home. I saw the light turn on, and a glimpse of Rose disappearing behind that house. By the time Dad ran into my room, she was gone. After much talking, he decided that it was just a nightmare and told me to call him only if somebody physically comes into my room. You and your fucking imagination, he said, walking away. Needless to say, I got exactly 0 hours of sleep that night. Nothing happened in the next few months. Rose would still come to visit my mom, but I'd make sure I wasn't there. Fuck that. As in every teenager's life, so many things were happening around me, I soon forgot about the Rose incident. Then, one day, I was spending my afternoon browsing the internet. This was years before Reddit, unfortunately, and I got pretty hungry. So as any spoiled child, I yelled from my room to see if my mom would come. She didn't. Oh well, I thought to myself, tough luck. I have to go to the kitchen and make myself a sandwich. The kitchen in our house was connected to the living room, but you couldn't see the living room until you were at least in the middle of the kitchen. So I open the door to the kitchen and walk in. I freeze. There it is, right there on the kitchen table. An orange. I immediately thought of that creepy night. Rose is here. I am motionless in my spot. A few seconds later, I realize how stupid I am for relating a common piece of fruit to a crazy window stalker. So I walk towards the table, wanting to put the orange back into the fruit cabinet. I grab the thing and hear the voice behind me. "You'll have to come with me soon, you know." Child's voice. It's Rose. I produce some kind of noise resembling a scared pig about to get slaughtered. Lightning fast, I turn around and there she is, standing in the middle of the living room. Just standing there, the same grin on her face, same lipstick on her lips, and teeth as glaringly white as ever. Only this time, she started tilting her head a bit to the left, in slow motion. I remember it as if it happened yesterday. Her long black hair falling down her shoulders, white summer dress, bright red shoes to match her lipstick. I'm not sure if I mentioned before, but she was very pale. Even in the summer, she seemed not to be friends with the sun. This added to her general creepiness. There's this woman who already scared the shit out of me once, standing alone in the middle of my living room, pale as a ghost, bright red lipstick and shoes, tilting her head to the side and speaking in a child's voice. And then, she takes an orange out of her purse. Takes it out slowly and looks at me as if she wants me to have it. Just as my self-defense mode is about to take over and I either run away or tackle this crazy bitch, my mom walks in. I know it didn't actually happen, but it seemed like my mom brought light into the room. I released a breath of relief. Rose, of course, went back to her normal self. They were about to go for a walk, and my mom was getting ready in her room while she was pulling her grudge shit on me. Since my parents wouldn't believe anything I was saying about her, I wasn't sure what to do. The only thing I could do at that age is nothing, I suppose. But I swore I'd punch that woman should she ever come close to me again. A year or so had passed without any incidents, and I was getting ready to go to the United States to study in college. Since I was going to play basketball there, I had to prepare for it. I spent my summer that year away from home, working out in a training camp in a town about 40 miles from my city. During the last night of camp, the last incident happened. My roommate had left the camp the day before, and I had the room to myself. I was very excited about going to America in a few days and had trouble sleeping. My room had a beautiful balcony. I was on the 3rd floor of a hotel. Since it was warm, I decided to sit in the chair on the balcony for a while. I walked out, sat down, and immediately regretted it. "It is really time to come now." I nearly shit myself. I mean, it's been a while since I last heard that voice, but something like that stays with you forever. I slowly turned my head to the right, and Rose was standing on the fence of the balcony of the room next to mine. Mind you, not standing on the balcony or sitting at the table, but standing on the fence. How she was balancing, I don't know. Balcony was at least 50 feet from the ground, and she was holding the orange. The fucking orange. Only this time, the orange seemed to be somewhat rotten. Not nearly as bright as the first 3 times. I was scared that she would attempt to jump over to my balcony, as there was only a few feet of distance between them. I was also scared that she would die in an attempt to do so, and I'd be blamed somehow. I had no idea what the fuck was going on. "It is really time, you know?" She said it in that childlike voice, never opening her jaw, her teeth forever clenched together, and lipstick the color of fresh blood. She somehow seemed even paler this time, and her head was tilted to the left even more. She wore those red shoes. What the fuck do you want from me? I screamed in desperation, angry that this woman was causing me so much distress, but also hoping that somebody would hear me and come witness this crazy bitch's harassment. I only want you to go where you belong. She said that again and again, never opening her teeth. She only sprang her hand more towards me, almost offering me that semi-rotten orange. Fuck you, you crazy bitch. I opened the door of my room, and as I was walking in, I heard, "You will come." I slammed the door, deciding this woman was schizophrenic. I would have probably flipped out more, but I was leaving the continent in a few days, at which point I decided I would be safe. Wrong. I know this is an absolute wall of fucking text, but this is the shortest version of these creepy events. I came to the US and have been here for 7 years now. I forgot about the incidents and went on with my life. The only time I ever thought about Rose was when I was talking to my mom, who said that since I left, her friendship with that crazy bitch fell apart. I was glad. The last 7 years were the best of my life. I got a bachelor's and a master's degree. I got a wonderful girlfriend, you know. Life's good, man. But fucking then. I'm a huge tech geek, and I love Apple. Don't shoot me down for this, please. So, last Friday, September 21st, the release of the iPhone 5. I'm in front of the store with about 50 other people, and I'm about 15th in line. It's raining, it's cold, and I've been there for about 4 hours now. The doors finally open, and we start moving in slowly. I look across the street, and I instantly stop. People run into my back. I can hear them complaining, but it's all bouncing off of me. Across the street, I see a woman in a white dress, head tilted, holding something orange-ish. She's got a sickening grin on her face and lipstick so bright red I can see it from across the street. I can't move. Someone from far in the back pushes, causing me to fall, and while I gather myself, I see the woman disappearing behind the corner. I remain sitting on the ground. It was Rose. It was her, I swear. I sit there for a few minutes, get myself together, and walk into the store. No phones left. I decide to walk across the street, and there it was. At the place where she was standing now only sits a mushed, terribly rotten orange. That's it. Just a rotten orange. I started crying. All the memories came back. How did she find me anyways? I spent the next few hours in a nearby coffee shop, drinking tea and reasoning how this could be logically possible. I kept no secret from my friends and family about my whereabouts. Did she stalk my Facebook? My friends? Did she travel here to harm me? What the hell is her deal? Answering none of the questions that I asked myself, I went home, deciding to keep it all to myself. My girlfriend noticed something was wrong with me for the next few days, but didn't push it. I figured it was all a fluke, my mind playing tricks on me because I was up all night before that morning. Plus it was raining. How could I see that well? And that orange? Well, that was just a coincidence, right? I convinced myself that I was just making it all up. So today a letter came. I get a lot of mail, so it's not that out of the ordinary. But this was an envelope with no return address. I opened it and was immediately shocked. You come with me, now. I was holding a Polaroid picture. In it, there was me, standing in a line in the front of a grocery store last Friday. Only the picture was taken by the person behind me. It was taken at the moment I was looking across the street. I can tell because I could see the horror on my face. On the back of the photo, there were a few words written with a black pen. I dropped the picture and started crying like a baby, like really crying my ass off. My girlfriend found me in our room curled up on the bed, still sobbing. She was terrified that maybe somebody close to us had died, as she's never seen me shed a single tear before. I had to tell her. I started telling her the story, leaving most of the details out, so I could get to the point quicker. As I was talking, I could see she was getting more and more pale. She never said a word. I finished my story and she was pale as a ghost, not moving. And then she said it. She asked the fucking question that honestly almost caused me to faint. She said, "This woman, did she happen to, hold an orange?" I froze in place and she started crying like I have never seen her cry before. We had a long talk that night, and to be quite frank, her story would require another full wall of text. Honestly, I'm exhausted from typing this much, and I'm pretty sure nobody is going to be willing to read all of this. I am also lost, terrified, and so confused. But if somebody does read this, I will write the rest. I'll write the rest in hopes that somebody can offer a solution, maybe an answer. Currently, we're both scared as fuck, not knowing what to do next. Police is an option, but what do we tell them? I don't know, man. I am fucking scared for mine and her well-being. Help me. So, what do you think of Rose and her oranges? Would this terrify you as much as it did the writer? Drop a comment below with your thoughts. I know personally I would be scared absolutely shitless. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more creepy content. You can also drop a comment below of any other creepypastas you'd like me to read here on the channel. What's your favorite one? Until next time, members of the Midnyte Society, stay curious, stay brave, and may the mysteries of the night unfold in your favor.